Hey, scrappy people. Tracy Reed here today, coming at you with a life crafted page in my 2023 album using the Cocoa Daisy Dandelion Wishes collection. Today I'm going to be scrapbooking this lunch date that I went on with my mom. We tried a new Korean restaurant, and there are some food related cards in the Dandelion Wishes collection that I thought would work perfectly. However, my photos, like the colors and the darkness of my photos, don't work well with such a bright and happy and springy collection. So I'm gonna make it work, and we're gonna see how I do that together. So I'm cutting out these photos into 1.5 inch circles, which makes them super small. I could have reprinted the photos a little bit larger and done 2 inch circles, but this actually works out pretty well. I mean, they're just food photos, and they're not like amazingly good food photos, so we can have them small. I'd rather have the photo of my mom and I a large. So I'm gonna trim this down to, I think it's 2.5 by 2.5, and then I'm going to. I thought it would work. It didn't work. It was too small or too big to go into the 2 inch circle punch. So we're gonna just make it square. But we're gonna go circle heavy on this page. I decided that I want to use this beautiful watercolor background as my page background. So we're gonna start there. And then rather than cut into all of these beautiful 6x8 papers and waste them for such small circles, I'm gonna get out some journaling cards that have patterns on the back, because some of the Cocoa Daisy journaling cards have patterns on the back. So it's much better for me in my brain to cut into journaling cards and use the patterns on the back of those than it is to cut into an entire paper. So we're going to start with this 4x6 that has this yellow polka dot on the back, and we're going to have all of these food photos on this yellow polka dot. And then I'm looking at this going, okay, this is good, but how are we going to make this work with these dark photos? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ink all of the things, and this gets messy, and that's okay, but we're going to ink the edges of everything. So I'm just taking my ink pad and going along the edges, and you can see this gives it a black outline, which starts bringing in the black of all of the photos. So I'm going to do that with this journaling card too, and you can see that it's starting to get messy because I didn't realize, or I didn't think about the fact that that needed to dry before I flipped it upside down and started messing with it. Like I'm leaving fingerprints, and I'm like, oh no, okay, let's just scrub the whole thing. We're going to make the whole thing covered in ink. You can see me going, uh-oh. So I'm cleaning up the ink off of my table, and I am reevaluating how I'm going to ink all of the things going forward so that I don't make this mess again. But first we're going to place all of these photos so that we've got them around the page, and I think this is so cute, and I love the way that it echoes like a plate, right? So it looks kind of like they're on plates. There's a plate in the journaling card that it looks like. So we're having a moment here. We've got the sketchy journaling card and the sketchy edges of all of these photo mats, and it looks really cute. So I'm loving the way that that goes. So I'm going to go through the journaling cards and find some patterns that I think will work. I pull out this polka dot one, then immediately decide no. But I do end up needing a third pattern. So I'm going to take my my circle punch, and I'm going to punch a bunch of different size circles. I don't know how many I'm going to need yet, but I'm going to do 1 2-inch, 1.5 inch, and then 3, just to use up the whole card, 3 of the 1-inch circles. And then I'm going to start layering them. And then when I cut out that yellow one, I cut it perfectly around that dandelion, and I didn't realize it, but how perfect is that? So even though dandelion doesn't really make sense in the context of the layout itself about food, I decided I'm going to go with it, and I'm just going to have a dandelion. It looks good with the background, so that's how we're going to incorporate it. So I'm immediately going, okay, I need a third one. So we're going to do, I wanted the pink because there's only that pink from the journaling card in that one place. So I wanted there to be at least one more spot of pink, even though it's super light. So I'm going to go with the pink here. And I'm going to arrange these polka dots how I want them to be on this page. I need to put down this photo and journaling cards so that I can work around them. I was just cutting out more circles out of that yellow polka dot just because I had it there and it was just going to go in the garbage. So I might as well cut the circles out to see if I can use them. I don't think I end up using any of the yellow polka dots, but whatever. Okay, so I've got those down. I realized halfway through this that I forgot to ink the edges of that journaling card before I put it down. So I'm gonna have to pull that up and ink the edges because everything at this layer is going to be inked. Not the photo, but everything else. And I think that that really helps the whole vibe of the page because you can see these circles when they're not inked around the edges, they just kind of float and disappear into the background. Except for that blue. That blue does not, but everything else kind of just floats and it doesn't look grounded or centered, but all of these inked edges work so well for the way that this page came out. Love, love, love it. Trying to be careful, but not being too concerned about it. I'm adding the adhesive to the circle before I ink the edge, and that's how I'm keeping from getting it too messy because I don't have to flip them upside down. Okay, so I've got all of these done. I'm going to ink the edge of this, even though it's super messy. And then I'm going to pull this up and ink the edge of this. And so I think that's the extent of the inking, except I'm definitely going to ink the outside edges of all of the paper too. So we're going to go around the outside edges of the paper and then, whew, I think we're done inking. But I love it. Just this part alone just looks so good to me. I love the way that it helps incorporate those dark photos into the light colors of this page. So now I have pulled out a bunch of embellishments that I think might work. I want to add a caption to each of these photos to explain what they were. I mean, they're pretty self-explanatory, but you know, I'm extra. I wanted to add that smile circle in too, but I just thought it was too much yellow, so I end up not. This picture perfect was too big. I didn't mind adding a little bit extra color to this page. I understand that it's blue, yellow with a touch of pink right now, but I didn't mind adding a little bit of green to the page with that. Love this. And then of course I needed to add another dandelion just to make that other one make sense, so we're going to put this right here. Okay, I think I like that. So anything else I need to add to the other side? I was like, I need something other than circles here. So let's do these chevrons. And then I decide that instead of these chevrons, I forgot that there were wood veneer chevrons in the collection. And I see them as soon as I start pulling the backings off of one of these chevrons and change my mind. I need to cover up that that whoops on the "You Can't Live a Full Life" card. That's what that blue chevron is covering up, so that's kind of what I'm thinking there. Okay, so I like the way that looks, so I start committing to it and I'm going to sort of start pulling off the backing, and then as soon as I put it down I realize that I have those wood chevrons, and I think that those might work a little bit better just because they're going to add a different texture to the page. And so you can see me go, oh wait, maybe after I try and get this off. I think I was having problems getting that off because I was looking at the wood ones. Okay, so we're going to use these instead. And then I have enough, now that I'm using these, I have way more than enough because I have a whole nother package of these, but I have enough to add them to the other side as well. So I like that. And I don't want them all horizontal, or I want some of them pointing down. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here. I love the way that that frames everything in and gives a different angle than all of those circles. And I'm just gonna staple them down because I'm lazy and I don't want to glue them down. So that's what we're doing. It also adds more texture, right? All the texture. Okay, so one more up here and then I'm gonna add them to the other side. I love how different this looks from my normal page. Of course, we still have all of the papers here, and you know, I love patterns, I love papers. I always am going to add as much as I can, but I love that there's no like paper strips, and there's not even photo matting on this page. We're just going with straight up circles, and I think it's super fun. Okay, now let's find a place for them on the other side. I'm going to put down these labels first. And look at me being brave and putting down the labels before I write on them. My handwriting, man, it's atrocious, but that's okay. Then one more. The yellow one is different than the other two, so I made sure to put it in the center so that it looks intentional. It's the little details that kind of trip me up sometimes. I'm like, why is this label different? It probably came from a different kit than the other two. That's probably why. But I was like, what is happening? All right. Last but not least, let's get these chevrons down. Maybe. So I want to make sure, of course, again, that they're not all facing the same direction. So this one's going to go here. And this one's going to go here. It's facing down. And then one more. So they kind of mirror each other, right? But they're not in the exact same places or facing the exact same direction, which I like. All right, we're getting close here. I do need to add a little bit more because it's looking a little bit unfinished even though it has so much going on. So we're going to add this dandelion because of course. And then I want to add this word strip that says this was the best because that, oh, I always say it wrong. I want to say bimby bop, but I don't think that's right. It was so good though. I definitely double checked the spelling of that word before I write it down. Go me, because I did not spell it right in my own brain. This was the best. Oh my goodness. So slow. I was scrapbooking this one very slow. Then I want to add in this word bit too that says love this, even though that's one random spot of green on the page. Oh well. But yeah, I'm going to add some hearts and call it good. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you gave it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I'd love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Tracy M. Reed. I'd love to see you over there as well. There's a link to Cocoa Daisy in the description box below. It is an affiliate link, so if you want to start a subscription, I will get a little bit of a kickback for showing you how cool the collection is. All right, thank you.